If we're going to fold, it's going to have a massive effect on people, 50 employees, their families, versus X amount of people passing away due to the coronavirus.
I've talked to other business owners who say that the furlough scheme, as you say, is generous. It's absolutely necessary. People need something to live on. But they're also saying if it's going to go on 6 months, maybe longer, actually the furlough scheme is only delaying the inevitable. Is that what you're finding?
100%, because that's only taking part, that's only compensating for a small factor. I still need to pay my rent, which is a big chunk. I still need to pay the utilities. I still need to pay for loans where the lenders aren't giving us any kind of a holiday period. So where does that money come from?
And how,
sorry, go on, Karen.
What would you like the government to tell you exactly?
Just a plan, as in like we're doing in Scotland. There's going to be this is the plan over the next 3 months. This is what's going to happen. Gyms are probably health clubs like ourselves are probably going to be further down the line, but it's easy for us to implement steps that will allow the social distancing to be in there. We can reduce class sizes, we can reduce the number of people in the club. But once we're open, all of a sudden, everything changes where we can start packing up, we can get the sanitizers in, we can get masks for our staff if we need, but we can plan for it because we don't know day to day. Like over the last 4 weeks, we've tidied up, we've cleaned, we've got everything nice and ready, but in another month, it's all really dusty again, we've got to pay cleaners again to come in and do it all over again, but we just need a plan so that we can plan for our future, plan for our staff, see where we're going to be. Because once the furlough is finished, I might not even have the money to afford to pay X amount of employees' salaries. Then what happens?
Thank you very much, Ash, and very exciting to get a first-time caller on my first-time show. Thank you. I'm going to move to Luke, who is also a new caller in Woodford. Hi, Luke. Good evening. How are you?
Hey, well, thank you. So I think it's not the same to say that we want a plan as it is to say that we want to know when things are going to happen, because realistically, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be told dates. So my point is that the government seems to be balancing the probability of sharing a plan and how that will affect compliance with the lockdown. So I have a newborn, and all I want to do is to take her to meet her grandparents. However, if I were to be told that that is phase 3 or 4 of the plan, I'm likely to say, well, I'm going to go and break the lockdown and do it anyway. Whereas if it was in phase 1 of the plan, I'm more likely to adhere to social distancing, follow the rules. So people who want to go to the pub, as I would also like to do, but it's not a priority, if they're told that that's phase 6 or 7, then the government risks people failing to follow the lockdown because the staging of the release process isn't what they want.
Yeah. Can I ask, Luke, congratulations on your baby. And is this a first grandchild?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Incredibly kind of, frustrating for all of us, but at the same time, I'm working from home and I get to spend the first month of my daughter's life with her every day. So there's an upside to it. And, I think we have to take the positives from all of it. I would really dearly love to introduce her to her grandparents, but, there is a positive side of this. The advice is the correct one, and the phasing, I think, is just a balance of probability around compliance with the lockdown.
I'm really sympathetic with you, and I can understand why you just want to run off and show your newborn to the grandparents. We've been doing family meetings on Zoom, and I think everyone's been doing a lot of that. House parties, Zoom and Google.
Yeah, and
it's just not the same.
It is incredibly frustrating, but at the same time, that's what we've got to do. That's our responsibility to follow the advice. And it's, again, you have if I can see a plan, my mental health probably improves.
That's my point. That is my point. Did you hear the psychiatrist earlier? Because if I'd had more time, I wanted to ask him, don't you think that, people's mental health will really improve if they have something to aim for, something to live for? And you give people some hope.
And that's why it's a balance of of probabilities because, yes, people's mental health will improve, they can see an end to this, but don't forget, the government can't realistically be expected to put concrete dates on this, so all they can do is phases. Again, for me, it's just the risk of people kind of getting fed up of it, and then abandoning the advice. So it's a difficult balance. I just think the key thing which we're doing is a very, very tiny sacrifice in the context, which is to follow the rules and not actually do just exactly what we want, because we've all got a responsibility.
Thank you so much, Luke, and enjoy your time with the baby. I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but it does go very fast, even in a lockdown. Adrian has called from Herne Hill. Hi, good evening, Adrian.
Yeah, hi Rachel. Welcome to the gang.
Thank you. Yes, as I walked in, someone said, "Welcome to the family." It's always nice, that would be. I don't want to make any family jokes. What do you want to say about lockdown, Adrian?
I've got 2 points, if I may. My brother's actually in King's College Hospital at the moment.
He's what, in King's College Hospital?
He's in intensive care unit.
I'm sorry to hear that.
For liver failure, and I just wanted to give a big up to the National Health Service, because they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
There's a specialist liver unit in King's, isn't there? So he's in the best place for it.
Yeah, that's where he is. He's got major organ failure. He's very poorly, but he's getting the best of care. But that's a side issue. I personally think about the lockdown. I think the damage that it's going to cause in society through, I don't see any benefit personally putting 10 million people on a dole or whatever the figure is. I think sort of it's terrible, all these people losing their lives, but I just think the misery and the loneliness and all the things that families. I agreed with Ash what he was saying. My brother owns a pub. I mean, he's got the same amount of employees. People are just struggling. The banks are not playing ball.
Aren't they? I mean, they're having difficulty getting the money out, aren't they?
Absolutely not. They don't give a monkey. They just turn around and do that. So my brother owns a pub. And he just say, well, your mortgage is due. You've got to pay it. And he said, well, how do you want me to pay it? They're not playing ball at all. But
can I just say one thing? I read a paper today from the LSE about how lockdown should be probably eased in June. And within that paper, they said in each month of lockdown saves 35,000 lives. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what they've worked out from, so there is a point to it, and we've got to keep that front of mind. And we're going to hear from somebody who's saved a very important life after the news at the hour, half past the hour. So we're going to get to that. It's going to be emotional. You're listening to Rachel Johnson on LBC, and it's 6:30 and time for the news.
The government's COVID-19 testing website had to close early after running out of home test kits in the first 2 minutes. 5,000 were made available for key workers today, but Downing Street says there will be more tomorrow. Drones are going to be used to deliver medical supplies from next week. Trials in South Wales and on the Isle of Wight have been fast-tracked. The maker of Dettol says its product should not be ingested under any circumstances after comments from Donald Trump. He said it would be interesting to check whether disinfectant could be injected to fight COVID-19. And the weather dry for most tonight, but becoming cloudy in the east, a low of 4 degrees in the north.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast, weekday mornings from 7. Health Secretary Matt Hancock, there is anecdotal evidence that people are getting back on the roads. How concerned are you about that, and what is your message?
My concern is that people follow the rules. In very broad numbers, people are following the rules. We have flattened the curve. We don't want to go back to rising numbers and have a second peak.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast.
With Xero. Get your business digital ready with Xero accounting software.
LBC.
We've never been further apart, yet somehow never closer. To support people making a difference and those local communities affected during these extraordinary times, Barclays is supporting the Big Night In appeal. We kickstarted our donation with £1 million and matched Barclays customer donations up to a total of another £1 million. So far, Barclays has helped raise £2,265,883, so thank you. Visit barclays.co.uk to find out more about how your donations are helping. All donations will be split between the registered charities.
All the food and ingredients you love. Fresh meat, fresh fruit and vegetables, eggs, flour, rice, noodles, sauces, spices and more. Hu Hing is your supermarket that's open 7 days a week during the lockdown. Hu Hing supermarkets are in Leighton, Mitcham, Milton Keynes, Chadwell Heath and Park Royal. At huhing.com.
Any briefing, our number 0800.
It was business as usual. To be completely honest with you, I've worked in intensive care for 10 years. I'm a sister, I've been in charge for 5 years. I've been in really stressful situations and I was not fazed by this. This was just another day at the office. When I got in the car after work each night and I could hear things about Boris Johnson on the news, that was very surreal because I thought, wow, you know, I've just been looking after him. But I really wasn't fazed by looking after Boris Johnson.
Jenny McGee was speaking to reporters from TV NZ, and actually that was the first time I've heard her voice, and I've read the transcript of what she said, and it makes me think lots of things. How lucky we are in our frontline staff, how lucky we are in our immigrant workforce, how lucky we are in the quality and dedication of all the people who work in the NHS, which is why of course we do our clap on Thursday night. And a couple of things she says I think really ring true and resonate and make me feel, I don't want to get emotional, but I think the important thing Jenny said there was that, and I think that Luis, the nurse from Portugal, also said it, when you have a patient under your treatment, it doesn't matter who they are. No life is more important or less important than any other life. All lives are equally important, and I think that was the message that I take away from what the psychiatrist told me. He's in the shielded group, but it's incredibly important that we we all sacrifice our time to save their lives. Just another patient, Jenny. I mean, I'm so pleased, and I would like to thank you personally, but I can't. So just accept my thanks from the entire Johnson family, and to Luis, and to everybody in the ICU at St Thomas's for everything you did to keep my brother safe. Thank you very much indeed. Right, reset. Chris, has called from Leicester. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Rachel. I'd like to say not quite a long-term lister yet, but will be.
Good.
Yeah, and so quite amazed really. I'm kind of sat in my house in Leicestershire with my wife,
Yes.
and yeah, the weather's really nice, fortunately. But there's neighbours having gatherings in their back gardens. We can hear them getting a bit more rowdier, a bit more drunker. The music's kind of blaring, and it's really amazing us to kind of hear some of the last lady on was, and the last guy on saying about his him kind of shielding. My mother's shielding as well, and these guys, it was totally flaunting the rules, and they are putting us all at risk, aren't they?
It's difficult, I know, because nobody wants to be a snitch. Nobody wants to be a killjoy, but I think it makes everything much harder when some people aren't observing the rules. And I can quite understand why you feel aggrieved and you think they're not necessarily being the best neighbours.
Exactly, and do I kind of get some moral courage and go around there knocking the door, or do I call the police? Where do people go with this? You know what I mean?
And how is it all your family? How's your mum, Chris, who's been shielded?
Yeah, so she's shielding at the moment with an eye problem, and she's in the vulnerable category. So she works for the local council in a school. So yeah, she's quite lucky. She's still going to take home her salary, and not that she's comfortable, but she will still be able to survive. But we're quite lucky actually that's the case.
Do you think that lockdown is actually breaking down? I mean, and this is why we so need to have a sense of why, when and if it is going to be relaxed.
Yeah, I think people will kind of flaunt the rules, and that's going out and getting kind of going out for long drives or going out and getting non-essential shopping, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm not too sure really, to be honest.
What would you like to see relaxed first?
I think personally, people be able to go back to work and provide the service.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have so many new callers. And David has called in from Hammersmith. Are you a new caller, David, or are you an old hand?
Well, I'm new to you.
Oh, you're new to me.
Yeah, well, I've not heard you on before.
Well, no, not many people have heard me on before because this is my first time, David.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's the point.
Okay, so what's your take on lockdown and a schedule for lifting it?
So I don't think we need the details of a plan because the plan can be changed. I wrote a plan that I sent to number 10, and I also I've written a plan now for how to exit. And the fact is that that's my plan as somebody who's thought about this a lot and felt it was worth actually doing. But that could go and completely change the plan that they currently have. And this idea of letting, for example, schools first, none of that will work. The only thing that will work is something that feeds the data that we're collecting. And so for me, that is just the wrong way to go about it. And also, I think it restricts people's willpower. If people think, well, it's only going to be a few more weeks, or it's only going to be this, or this is going to be, the press don't help, the media doesn't help, going on and on about it. My mother was evacuated in the war for years. She didn't get to see her family. She was practically raised by another family in some ways. And the fact is that she went with the youngest of her family. He couldn't go in the same household. Nobody would have them. They were there. They were the last ones, and they ended up being in houses across the green. That was the closest they could get them. Now, the fact is that nobody is doing anything deliberately. Spain has a much tougher lockdown. You're not even allowed to exercise there. You're not allowed to take your dogs for a walk there. And to be honest, we really are having it very easy. And one of my relatives who is abroad said to me today, the reason your numbers are still quite high is because you're having such a soft lockdown. Now, if you look at Spain... Well,
I think people say, we locked down a bit later than other countries. And I think, there was... The government locked down after it saw a paper from the epidemiologist Neil Ferguson that we've all heard a lot about that said if they didn't lock down, there would be up to 500,000 deaths. Can I just go back to your mum? Was she evacuated from London and to the countryside?
That's right, yes.
And she didn't see her family, her parents for years. So you think that, you know, we're in a sort of wartime, we've got to have a wartime mentality.
We have to have that. I mean, and I see people, well, one of my neighbours, it's life as usual pretty much. I mean, they go out 3 times a day to walk the dog, and they have people come round to their house. But that's their up to them. That's their life, that's their risk. And, you know, if people want to snitch, if they feel something's going bad, they can dial 101.
You said you'd written a plan and you'd sent it to Downing Street. Did you get an answer?
I just got the, thanks very much, but, you know, like the automated reply. And some elements have been done. What's interesting to me is in my first plan, it was based on Wuhan's figures, which we now know to be lies.
Yeah, they think they've revised them up by 50%, haven't they?
I know, it's by a factor of 20. It has to be. If you do the numbers on all the other countries, you can see that China's are about 20 by a factor of 20. So the number of dead there. People were actually sealed into their flats. They welded doors shut to stop people going in. They left the dead there until they could collect them. There's some pretty horrific stories coming out of that part of the world. But the thing is that, let me give you a scenario. Imagine that they've got a plan right now. Now imagine that I say to them, for what somebody actually bothers to read the plan I've done and says, well, actually, yeah, that's a much better way of doing it. What they previously told the public will no longer apply, and you have to think on your feet because the numbers are changing.
Yeah, David, can I just say something? We haven't had the government plan. You've written a plan. Please will you send it into LBC? I will read it. I will let you know what I think next week. But I'm afraid we've got to leave it there. But there's still time to get your calls in to speak to me on 03456060973. You can text on 84850 or you can tweet at LBC. You're listening to Rachel Johnson on LBC, and it's time for the news headlines with Tim Humphrey.
Drones will be used to deliver medical supplies in trials starting in the UK next week as part of the government's response to the coronavirus pandemic. More home testing kits will be available tomorrow on the government's website for critical workers. 5,000 were taken up in just 2 minutes this morning. The Transport Secretary says there are tentative signs that progress is being made in the battle against coronavirus in the UK. And the weather, dry for most tonight, but becoming cloudy in the east and a low of 4 degrees in the north.
LBC Travel, I'm Dave Goff. The M25 clockwise in Essex is blocked at the QE2 bridge because of a police investigation, so there are queues from junction 30 at Lakeside. It also means there are queues in Kent on the M25 anti-clockwise at the Dartford Tunnel. One of the tunnels has been closed, so it's down to 2 lanes. It looks like clockwise traffic may be diverted through one of the tunnels. In London, the North Circular Road in Neasden stays closed both ways between IKEA and the Harrow Road underpass for investigation work after an accident earlier. There are queues from Hanger Lane and Staples Corner as traffic diverts. And National Rail services are running to a reduced timetable. The advice is to only use public transport if your journey is absolutely essential.
Coming up at 7 on LBC, Andrew Pierce.
Test for 5,000 key workers was snapped up within 3 minutes of the government website being launched and then closed down. If you're a key worker, are you still waiting?
Andrew Pierce on LBC. This is LBC.
Looking at the weather now, cooler temperatures are set to bring stiffness to many shoulders and necks today, and we're forecasting pain in the joint regions, especially across the knees and fingers. Chilly days like this will stop many of you from getting out in the garden, and it's bound to raise your aches and pains. But together we can speak out against arthritis and help to clear the air, bringing plenty of better days ahead. It's not all right, it's arthritis. Join us at versusarthritis.org.
If it's essential that you travel by train this May, here's some important news from us at Network Rail. There are engineering works planned for both the early and late May bank holiday weekends. Some services may change and some will not be running. If you really must travel, please plan ahead by checking nationalrail.co.uk.
From home offices to shared workspaces, however you work, at Starling Bank, we'll help you to keep your business flying. With easy integrations that connect your banking with your accounting software, your business is ready for takeoff. Starling Bank, helping business fly.
Quick
the grit and determination of those who work for themselves. And in these challenging times, they're adapting to support their communities. So together, let's support them in return. Intuit QuickBooks. Visit quickbooks.co.uk.
Rachel Johnson on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hi, it's 6:48 and you're listening to me, Rachel Johnson, and what we're talking about is whether we all need to have some sense of when and if lockdown is going to be lifted. We want a plan. Norma has called from Marlow in Buckinghamshire. Hi Norma, good evening.
Hi Rachel, good evening and welcome to LBC. I've been a long time listener and I do call from time to time, and I'm so glad that the brother is on his way to a full recovery.
So am I, thank you.
I just want to talk about two things. First, my first point is please do not forget the private care workers. In terms of congratulating the NHS workers, etc., that is a given. They must be congratulated because the sterling work they're doing is so important. But also the private care workers, my sister of which is one, also risked her life to go look after the elderly that are in their homes. And I've never been more proud of her than I am at this particular moment.
Of course, we do clap. We clap, of course, for those who are in social care as well. I mean, I meant that. I mean, that's what we all feel now. But
thank you.
Now, how is your sister coping?
Oh no, she's fine. She's sterling. She puts on her hazmat suit, uniform, all sorts of bits and pieces. She does sterling work. But I call to say that in view of the fact that this is a pandemic, we have no cure, we have no antidote, we have no antibody test, there's no vaccine. The tests that were actually issued to the key workers were snapped up in 2 minutes. What is the rush to go to work until a cure or an antidote or a vaccine has been found?
I think, Norma, can I...